back to Insight. Dave McComb joins us, and this is an important topic that you have coming up here in just 2 Saturdays, the 12th.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to have the what we call the holiday seminar, where we invite the people that we have served in the last year in funeral service. So when somebody loses somebody, typically there's a ceremony, but a lot of times after a couple weeks go by, nobody's talking about the person who died. The friends stop calling, and this gives an opportunity for people to share and come together and share their stories with each other, because the first holiday after a death is very difficult. And you know, there's always an empty chair there, and it's a very sad thing to think about. But this gives a way for people to get coping ideas from Dar Richardson, who is our guest speaker that night. She's done this with us many, many times. Does a great job. But anyways, it gives people coping skills to get through that first holiday.
And that first holiday, does it look different depending on what my loss is, if it's a mom or a dad versus a wife or a child?
Well, yes, there are differences. The circumstances surrounding a death are very important about how somebody deals with the loss of a loved one. You know, if it's somebody that's been in a nursing home for 10 years, they have all kinds of illnesses and so forth, where you expect them to die. And some people are very thankful when the person dies because the person is now out of pain. On the other hand, if you have a situation where there's somebody that dies tragically, like a young child in a car crash, I mean, that's certainly different. So every person has their own circumstances, surrounding their death based on obvious things like their family, how they died, and so forth. And so we try to recognize those different things at the seminar.
Do you find that there's some people that may not be ready to even grieve, or grief is such a unique and personal thing?
That you're absolutely right. It is unique and individual for everybody that goes through it. And once again, it's because of the circumstances surrounding the death. But the seminar that we're going to have does bring people together where they can share, that one similar thing is the loss of a loved one. And it's a very good thing to do it in an organized way, in a way that's safe, and they don't feel like they have to be judged, they're being afraid to bring up the person's name again or hear the death story again, which is very important in the mourning process.
So we see some of the details here as they're scrolling by that we can find on your webpage as well, I believe, correct?
Right, yes.
So I need to pre-register and reserve a spot?
Right, yeah, it's coming down to the wire on pre-registering time, but there's still availability, and we hope you all will come and share in. We're going to have a candle lighting ceremony. There'll be a recognition of each individual that comes with the picture of their loved one, and placing the candle in the sand, and then following after that will be a reception where there'll be drinks and food and so forth.
Do you find that people tend to ask, to me it feels like the same question, where it's like, is it ever going to get back to normal, or is this,
Yeah, another good question. A person never really goes back to normal after they lose a loved one. When people get married, there's two hearts that become one. Well, people lose actually part of themselves. So it moves on to a new normal. It never goes back to what they call homeostasis in the psychology world. Never gets back to that. It's always a new normal. And but you have to go down the grief and mourning path. You have to recognize your grief. You have to face it rather than go around it. We wear these bands that says, go through and you'll become wiser and stronger rather than going around. And that comes from Helen Keller. And she always said, to get to the other side, you must go through the door. And if you don't go through, you go around, then you'll have a more difficult time with grief and mourning.
All right, you want to help going through that door, find out more at the D.O. McComb webpage. You can find out more about the upcoming seminar. DignityMemorial.com will get you there as well. We will be right back on Insight.